For questions that may come up in the future, the following notes are being made by Mom, December 1991. This video has been moved from 8mm movies in the following manner. In the late 70s, Steve did many reels of condensing and moving of our first small films to the large reels. At the same time, Kathy did much detailed dating, listing, and describing of each activity that Steve had spliced. I now, years later, gratefully realize the efforts put into those hours, and thank you most sincerely, both of you. There are many things in the work that you did that I could never have accurately recalled now in 1991. Sometime in the early 80s, I organized all the films, large and small, into chronological order, and I tried to date those not marked and identify each function. There were somewhere around 150 to 200 of the 50-foot films. Now it is the 90s, and the time has come to do it or give it up. I could not afford to have it done, and I could not begin to do it alone. Peg voiced that it sounded like an interesting project, so together we started last Christmas. In order to do it correctly, we scrutinized, evaluated, reviewed, edited, and spliced during the entire year of 1991. We left anything in that might mean anything at all to any one of you. Most of it came out real decent, and definitely recalls many fun and happy times of growing up. Also, many shots give good reason to compare the next generation of Novaks, their looks and their characteristics. It was a very fun and interesting job, and sometimes most tiring. To Peggy, who spent hours and hours and hours with me up and down stairs, in and out of the dark, viewing and reviewing, who became my eyes when I couldn't quite see and my fingers when my old ones just wouldn't do the fine things. I can only say that I could not have done the job without you, and I can't thank you enough for making it possible for me to put everyone's childhood onto their own video film. Thank you, Joe, for the sound effects, Bill for the computer work, Jim for the loan of your camera, and Len for many, many times of helping. Volume 1, Novak Home Movies, Part 1, 1955, September 17th, 1955. Wedding of Joe Harold Novak and Marilyn Meyer. Groom anxiously waiting at the church. The bride's mother. Here comes the bridesmaids. Joyce Trudgeon, Joanne James, Mary Calusi, maid of honor in gold, and Jean Spicuzzi, Joe's sister. There's the bride, the bride's mother, and there is the group, all ready.
Spruced up and looking in my prime. Girls, come and kiss me, say that you miss me. Get me to the church on time. If I am dancing, roll up the floor. If I am whistling, out the door. I'm getting married in the morning. Ding, ding, dong, they're gonna shine. So lose your compass, kick up the rumpus. Get me to the church, get me to the church. For Pete's sake, get me to the church.
Here we are at the church.
Walk right in and throw the shadows away.
That's Al, the best man in the black tie. You'll have trouble throughout the picture distinguishing him from Joe. The brothers look very much alike.
The magic moment, and my heart seemed to know that love said hello.
In this day and age, you weren't allowed to take a camera past the door, so therefore, the 8mm was taking pictures down the aisle and now back out the aisle after the ceremony.
And I had found my future at last one. And I had found
Grandma?
completely new.
Gus, Jean's husband. Maggie, Joe's sister. A neighbor.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Uncle Bill's in the background there on the left in the dark suit.
This I'll tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other.
Joyce Stoneman, a high school friend.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Marilyn
You got this
Frank Donahue, boyhood friend, stood up at the wedding. There's my Uncle Joe Hanser.
Mrs. Parley, my boss, on the left.
Mrs. Navarro.
Try to separate them.
Miss Carlson's got her back to the camera. She was a classmate. Mommy, my favorite Abigail, my mother's sister.
Try and you will only come to this conclusion. Love and marriage, love and
The rice is given to us.
go together.
It was hard
like
and
a
hurt.
horse and carrot.
Rita, a cousin. Rosie Bucky, a classmate.
Brother,
Uncle Bill in the front of the camera. Mrs. Thomas, Katie's mother from high school, a cousin.
you can't
There's
have
Uncle Bill again.
the other.
Evelyn Szymanski again. Andy Navarro and Jack Kaczynski in the wedding.
Bob, the photographer.
Rita Simon's a cousin. Her daughter Donnelly.
Try and you
Bonnie
only
Stewart, who
Marv.
became true later.
to this conclusion.
My godfather, Charles Hanser, and his wife Marie. Just to his left in a blue dress, I believe. Oh, you'll see her in a minute.
Dad was told by mother, you can't have one, you can't have none, you can't have one without the
There's my Aunt Marie. She's my godmother.
In the back is Mrs. Calusi on the left. Those are two neighbor girls. They live next door. I can't remember their names, but they were like two of my favorites. And they wanted a picture with the bride. Uncle Bill.
You're nobody.
Mrs. Trudgeon with her husband, Mr. Trudgeon, Joyce's parents, Mrs. Stewart, and on the very left in the back corner, you'll pick up Jean Fraser, but you'll also pick up Mr. Stewart.
Till somebody cares.
Grandma Meyer.
The baby king.
She had a gray dress.
There's Aunt
rose on
Maureen on the
set.
right. Just a
The
little glimpse
world
of it.
is gold.
It's the only time we pick her up, I think.
Gold won't bring you happiness when you're growing old.
And onward we
The
go.
world still is the same. You'll never change it. As sure as the stars shine above.
There's one for the record book.
Nobody till somebody loves. Find yourself somebody who loves. You're a nobody till somebody
That was
loves.
Joanne's car. It was a brand new car, and she loaned it to us for the wedding.
You're a nobody till somebody cares.
Get a quick one in there.
You may be king, you may
Kiss, that
possess
is.
the whole world and its gold. The gold won't
Al is
bring
driving,
you
of course. With Barry in the car with him.
when
This is Precious Blood. It was at 6 Mile in Coolidge.
the world still is the same.
Jimmy Stevenson was in the right corner. He was the organist. He had 10 or 12 children of his own.
Sure as the stars shine above.
It's my mother's car. She's got Aunt Alice with her, and Uncle Bill is hanging out the back.
Nobody till
And
somebody
the last shot of the church, which was a very beautiful church.
So find yourself somebody.
Another wedding was getting ready to go in, so we were making our way out, and they were making their way in.
Because you're no.
Sally Hanser, my cousin, for her father.
Part 2, 1960 to 1970. Early years of the Novak children. Catherine Elizabeth, born 8/12/56. Stephen Joseph, born 10/6/57. Margaret, better known as Peggy Jean, born 11/23/58. Paul Edward, born January 2nd, 1960. James Albert, January 1961. Richard Allen, April 9th, 62. Michael Vincent, August 2nd, 63. Gary Thomas, 9/17/65. Well, here is Christmas of 1961. Jim is the baby. So we have Kathy and Steve and Peggy and Paul and Jim being carried. Kathy received a doll, her very big request. It was called Hug-a-Bye. And she hugged you. And then she left it on the steps and Uncle Bill stepped on it one day, and that was the end of Hug-a-Bye. And Peggy, of course, wanted a doll. And she got her request. Hers was Kissy. You put her hands together, and she kissed you. Steve, of course, got bongos. And here we have Paul, who has his guitar, and Jim, who's enjoying just about everything that is there. Now we're over at Woodland School on the corner of Gardenia and Dartmouth. Steve is skating in a darker coat. Kathy is in a white coat. And they're over there with Uncle Bill, who took them to skate with Ann and Pat, who are my first cousins. They were Mommy's two daughters. My mother's sister was Mommy. There's Kathy. And Bill is skating to and from her. And Steve comes and he goes. There's Ann and Pat. Pat has stripes on her headpiece and Ann has the white headpiece. They're just having a lot of fun. And down he goes. And down he goes again. This is Uncle Bill's car. It was an old car that he hand-painted and we called it his bomb. It was quite a treasure to him. He found it very useful for many things, playing games with kids or anything. Here we have 1962 starting out. Paul has a rocking horse cake and he's turning 2.
Got a little gun that shoots ping pong balls. Squeeze it.
And Jim is in the background. There's Jim trying to walk. He's taking his first steps and keeps trying. Now this is the infamous boxing match. Kathy and Steve are together, and later on is Peggy and Paul. One usually was in charge of the clock, and one was usually in charge of the bell. They keep at it, and they keep at it. Round and round they go. This was a regular routine in our house. We did this quite frequently, sometimes different partners. That takes care of that round. And now we have Peggy and Paul. You have to remember Paul is only 2 in this. Peggy would be 3. And she don't let up. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Jim is sitting on my lap in the background, and Daddy is taking care of the boxing match.
Two, 3, 4, 5. He's up.
Now we have Jim turning white. 1. And believe it or not, he has a store-bought cake. Dear Jimmy. This is Jim's first haircut. If you noticed before, his hair was quite long, and Daddy is working on his hair. He was pretty good during the ordeal. Buzz, 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 and away goes the hair. Now he's getting a little ornery. This was the way you gave an old-fashioned butch haircut. We call them brushes. And here's our finished product being brushed off and facing the camera. There's Jim after a spaghetti dinner. Almost all my kids at one time or another got a picture taken of this kind of a face. It was their favorite food and they enjoyed it the most. And Jim is still trying to walk. He had a large cheering section. The movie on this was a little bit better than it's showing in this picture, but we eventually clear up a little bit here. Pointing in the right direction, and there he goes. And they're cheering and rooting for him. Wet pants. Never believed in plastic pants, so they walked around in wet pants. Paul's in the background there. It's much easier to crawl. Let's just stay down on all four. Take the camera off of me. Here's Peggy doing the dishes. She loved to wash dishes. We'd stack them all up and she'd stand there and she'd wash and she'd wash. Notice the stack that she's got to do and notice how happy she is doing them. I wonder if she still is. Also notice the curls. That was natural. And she washes. Here we did a little slipping with the camera. I don't know quite what happened there, but there, we got it back on. Paul with his straps falling, which always seems to be happening. Ooh, look at Paul. Ooh, look at Kathy. And there's Jim. This was Jim's crib. He was in the front bedroom with us, and he just looked cute this day, so we decided to take his picture. Actually, Uncle Bill was at the camera again. But he walked. We had a big snowstorm. Rick is born. Now they're all happy and waiting for Daddy to come home to tell them whether or not. Look at the polka dotted diapers on Jim. They had just come out. There were polka dots and there were checks and we had some. They're all excited, waiting to find out if we have had a girl or a boy. I don't remember who was babysitting. I believe Angela. And here comes the new daddy.
Well, what did you want, a brother or sister?
Looks like they don't care. Or do
It was a boy.
Look at Kathy. Oh my God. Brother. So Peggy's happy. Paul's happy. Kathy's not too happy. Jim could care less.
I think Kathy wanted to send him back.
I think she did too. I think she's bargaining. Oh well, let's just accept him and dance around a little more.
And it's tired of being at the hospital. Notice the suspenders.
This is the day that the kids are all dressed up. Daddy dressed the kids up because today Mama and Rick come home.
Doing a new dance called the twist.
There's Mama, Jim, and they're showing her what they learned while she was in the hospital. Don't they look cute? They're all dressed up for me. Paul's got his frisbee and his marble, and that seems to be entertaining him. And there's the baby. One week old. He was born 1 week ago today. 9 pounds and 2 ounces. And that's our Richard Allen. Looks the same as he does now. Sweet baby. Here we are in the yard. Everybody's having a good time. At the gate looking over to Dartmouth, where you'll notice it's an empty lot. It's quite a distance to that house. About 5 houses over now.
This is where the pool is now. Just behind the house on the patio.
Throughout the scenes here, you'll notice there's no Adams's house behind us. There's no houses across the street. Here we are under the willow tree. The willow tree that's in the corner by Adams's house. Uncle Bill lined everybody up and said, run to the camera, and that's what they did. That willow tree was put there by my mother, Grandma Meyer. When she first saw the lot, she saved the tree in the middle of the yard and put it over there to plant it so it would be out of the way. And it grew to a big tree. They're having fun on the swings.
I do believe that's our first swing set.
And our first horseshoes.
Ringer. Slide into turns here. Jim's going down to check sure, make sure it's on. Here's the infamous. There goes one. Kathy missed again. Oh, Peggy missed. Dad hit his though. Steve hit his. He hit his again. He missed. Peggy got hers. Strike one. Strike two. Oh, he fouled ball. Oh, strike three, you're out of there. He finally got it. Oh, Dad got his. Through the hoop. Now he's on to the next one. There, Paul wailed at that time. Paul says, this is too hard. I think I'll give it a little shove here. And I'll do it by hand. It's easier. Now he's got the hang of it. He can keep the scratch up. There he goes. Goes again. Peggy's in the way, but that's alright. I'll just play right through her. That's no problem. I just go between her legs. There's Miles. Must have been hot. Dad took his shirt off.
Jim decided to eat a little bit of sand. Never could fill him up. Walking pretty good there. Kathy with Rick. Steve with Rick. And Peggy with Rick. I think that's Uncle Bill chasing his girlfriend Barb. I think that's Kathy.
Somebody just went through the stop street.
Maybe it wasn't the stop streets. It was a four-way stop, I think. Then. This one's
On the sailor end. This is the front yard. That's the big tree we cut down.
it's in the later film.
Notice the house is not yet brick. And here's Richard.
Big bad Rick.
It's like Jim stole Paul's sailor hat.
Wearing it in a different style so that he doesn't recognize it and take it back.
I think this is Jim trying to sleep. Uncle Bill would not leave him alone. Camp. Very upset. It's obviously tight.
It's going to be Rick's bath. He loved his bath. Usually the kids helped get baths, but they didn't seem to be around in this film. He almost didn't fit in the tub. The water's cold. Doesn't look like they went to the bath today. I think Rick is filming, I think Uncle Bill is filming this for Rick also, because at this time Uncle Bill lived with us because he had moved in after our mother had died. And he lived with us for a few years, and these were the years that he grew so close to the kids. And he also did a lot of filming. So you see and hear a lot more of Bill in these years. He had a lot of hair to wash there. Sounds like the clock's striking and it's time for Rick to be finished and go to bed. I don't have my padders around. They usually patted the powder in pretty good for me. It's all worn out. All he wants to do is go to sleep. And there he is, clean and beautiful, and worn out. This is Kathy's birthday party. It's taking place in the breezeway that burned in the fire, but this was the breezeway. They're playing their games there, and some of the people, if you remember any names, were Cindy Todd, Phil Grant, Harley Nichols, Ann Nichols, and Debbie Lamphere, and I believe this is Debbie Lamphere. There's others there that I know I should be able to say, but I can't remember them here in this later date. Kathy was 6 at this birthday party, and it was the very first birthday party she had where she had outsiders other than her first party where it was all adults. And this is the wall that had the door on it that went into the garage. I believe that was Phil Grant. Cindy Todd is the light-haired one with the short hair, this one right here. And we're opening some of the very nice gifts. This is a shocker to her. My goodness, money. Kathy has money. Probably more than she has now. They seem to all be having a good time. We always wore their birthday party hats. They were made out of crepe paper, and we made new ones for some parties and used old ones from other parties. Now we're in the kitchen. At that time, the eating table was in the kitchen, and we didn't have a dining room. And we all ate around the kitchen table, along with a refrigerator, a stove, a sink, and everything else that was out there. And now we're back to games in the breezeway. And I believe Uncle Bill is playing the piano. You catch his back, but that's all. I think in the video you caught more of him. In the movie film you caught more of him. Here you just catch his back. But they twist to anything, so away they go. Let's do the twist. I think she had a nice party. Those were all her kindergarten friends. on a trip to Canada. This is the only time we took all the kids over to Canada. Joe's riding the machinery there.
This is the combine that separates the wheat from the chaff. That's all wheat comes down there. That's Dougie. That's Pat trying to get something free.
Pat is a cousin. He's a son of Uncle Loomis, who was a brother to my mother. Dougie is his son.
I was trying to help him, but I didn't know what I was doing.
This is the farm. That's the barn. They all got to go for a ride on the pony. Oh, and there goes Steve. These rides were quite long. We just got a shot of each one of them, though.
They're going out in the pasture to get the cows to bring them in for milking.
Girls decided to go together.
Jim says next year.
This is the farm dog. He took a bite out of Steve's face and left him with some scars right around his eye. We ended up in the emergency room. This is Pat's wife Laura there, and their two daughters. This is Laura. Get that camera off of me. This is Joanne and Diane. Joanne is called Josie. This is Diane. She's the one who does the family tree on the Zinger side that I have on my bookshelf. Joanne was called Josie. This is the family, and we're getting ready to say goodbye. It's been a nice trip, but the bugs were terrible, and we're glad to be going home. Trying to get away from the camera. They didn't want the picture taken. And there runs the Columbine. And we're taking off. Now we're on Halloween. Jim is the clown. He always liked being a clown. This is before they went out. They're all looking out to see what's out there. Kathy is a leopard. Steve is the skeleton. Peggy is Little Red Riding Hood. That costume used to be mine. My mother made it for me when I was little. It went in the fire. And Paul was a pirate. He always liked being a pirate. Rick didn't get a costume this year. He just ate his hands. Here they come home. Here's a few decorations. Rick's talking on the telephone. Looks like I went out with them. There's the loot. They always brought home their loot, and Daddy sat down with them and divided it all out and counted it all out. And as the years went on, the quantities grew. They look tired. Over no. This is Peggy's birthday. This year we had Szymanskis over. They had Gregory, who was older than Kathy. And they had a Kathy. This is an elephant cake. I have no idea why. It must have been a chosen thing by Peggy. They had Kathy, who was Steve's age, and they had Lois, who was younger. I don't think she's here yet in this picture. But Evelyn and Jerry Szymanski were Peggy's godparents. They were excellent godparents until, unfortunately, their marriage ended up in a divorce. And we haven't seen or heard too much of them in the last few years. But they were very good to Peggy at this time. Jean, Joe's dad's sister. And for some reason she had Matthew with her instead of her own. I don't know why. That's Gregory, that's Szymanski, that's Kathy, that's Gregory. Being silly. I understand he's either a lawyer or a doctor now. And Marilyn is very partial to Peggy. And we're getting ready to put out the Christmas of 1962. Here we're decorating a tree. I believe Paul got hung up in a hook from a Christmas tree ball, and he's trying to get undone, and he's falling over on his head. That's what he's doing. Let's get him undone here and see if we can go on with this ordeal. They're all putting the decorations up, so I do believe we are at Christmas Eve. And here we have Rick being carried, because this time he's the baby. We had the tree between the kitchen door and the bedroom hallway door this year. The year before, it was against the bedroom wall. Kathy has a cowgirl doll. She didn't know it at the time, but it had been mine when I was a little girl. Peggy has a dollhouse. Paul has a rocking chair. Or is that Jim? Wait a minute. Jim has a rocking chair. Paul is in the background. It's a little fuzzy here. Kathy has a little red spinning wheel that she really wanted. And I really wanted her to have. And who was he called?
This is Beanie from the Cecil and Beanie.
There's a busy box.
Rick.
I got him something to keep him busy. Someone got a piano. I believe Jim.
Right to the
Somebody got a gun. Yep. Paul's writing on something or taking something apart. Looks like they had a rather generous Christmas this year.
This was a robot that walked, a remote control robot.
I think the light bar there was a little bit bright. Everything's white and everybody's covering their eyes. Well, listen to the music he's putting out. Here we are. This is still a Christmas scene, but it's after Christmas, just about New Year's, and the reason we stopped at this point and took more pictures is because we suddenly discovered everybody had chicken pox. So as Christmas wears on here, they're going to show you themselves with their chicken pox. In the movie, it showed a lot of spots, but you don't see too many here, but they were covered. First was Kathy, then was Steve. Here's Paul. The eyes are being hurt with light again. We should have known you needed glasses. Here's Peggy. And she's all full of spots, but she finds it funny. And there's Rick. He's covered. He had the worst case, but I can show you the area that it was so awful. But they all had him at one time. It was a very difficult time. Here's Jim. We were getting about 25 to 35 baths a day in soda water and patting them with cornstarch. And we go on to Jim's birthday. Another store-bought cake, and Jim is too. This is Grandpa Meyer. He was coming to visit, and this was his car, and he's getting into it. We don't have many shots of him, but that was one. Here is Easter outfits. Everyone's dressed up to go to church.
And you notice the house is still not brick.
The trim was a turquoisey color. We kind of liked it. The white doesn't look bad here though. The white looked really bad as the years go on.
The idea was for them to come out the front door, go to the camera, and go around the side door and go back into the house, one by one. Jim's a little undecided. He says, oh well, I'll go around the other side, take the scenic route. There's Rick waving.
Our pastor, Bill, and his girlfriend, she was from Madison High, which is where he graduated from while he lived with us. And now we go back and have some Easter fun. Rick is one. Happy birthday to Rickie. If you can read the cake, that is what it says. Look at the curls. Now we have a cute little thing here. This is where Kathy did her Eskimo dance. And she's on stage. I can't remember where it took place, but it was done to some little Eskimo song. Everybody's kind of following her. She seems to be the leader in it all. The movie is an excellent picture, but the white is distracting the video camera and making a poor picture. She kind of leads, everyone follows. On the stage, and there she is in her costume getting out of the car and coming home and taking her bows. This is the tree coming down, I believe, over by Dartmouth. We thought it was a decent enough picture to take, but sure isn't showing it on here. We cut the tree down, and it's the one way over by Dartmouth. Here is Steve in the sandbox. Don't know what he was doing other than playing in the sand. And here's a dog that Uncle Jack, Paul's godfather, was real generous and gave him for a birthday present. And now Mike enters the picture. This is Mike's baptism. Uncle Bill and Ange were his godparents. He's got Paul as usual, and Steve's aggravating him a little bit. This was such a beautiful movie. I don't know why it didn't video better. For baby, Michael Vincent. He's just a week or two old. And his godmother, Ange. They make a nice pair. There's Mag and Sam. There's Bob Pallister, Uncle Bill's friend. Phil Barloni in the background. The girls. And back to the godmother and baby. And here's a typical Bill filming, upside down and screwing around.
It's a family gathering on a slide.
We got them in order. I'm trying to get it so that Rick fits in there, but somehow I can't get Jim up by Paul to put Rick behind Dad. I don't think I ever did succeed, but they were kind of in order. Kathy, Steve, Peg, Paul, Jim, Rick, and Mike. I believe this is the tree coming down. That was an error back there. I don't know what was going on. This is the tree coming down. This is off to school. The last day of school for the school year. Now we go to Lakeville on a fishing trip. Maggie's holding Michael.
And there's Grandma Novak, believe it or not. One of the few times she took a trip with us. This was our fishing spot when the kids were young. We always went up to Lakeville. It was a small enough lake that you didn't need a motor.
This was also a gorgeous picture of Stevie as well in the video. The colors were gorgeous when I'm missing them.
That's Uncle Sam and Phil and Matt.
We're back here from the we're getting ready for birthday party. Very good. Yeah, this is a birthday party. This is first Steve's birthday party. He is turning 6. Took a picture of the package because it's the first time I had time to wrap a pretty package in a long time. Now we switch over to Peggy's 5th birthday party. If you look, you'll see Rose, Grant, Johnny, True, Janice on the left, True. That's Rose in the middle. And Jeff Dix is someplace here. I believe in blue. That's her cake. Uncle Bill made her cake for her, and he made a doll cake with an umbrella, and he decorated it himself. It was pink with all colored dots. We're at Christmas.
It's our first this hockey game. There's one off the board, and there's one around the corner here. Shoots and he scores! And there's Rick dancing to Zorba the Greek.
He has Casper, that was his gift. It was a doll, and he liked the doll, and he was dancing with it.
And Steve trying to help out with his saxophone.
Paul got this nice chalkboard. He spent a lot of time at that board.
Easy, Rick, it's slowed down now.
Didn't got a fire engine. Here comes a new year, 1964. And we're at Paul's birthday, and of course if it's 1964, Paul is 4. And there's Uncle Bill with Paul again. He has cupcakes with one big heart cake. Another try. Dear Polly, it doesn't say what this gift is, but when this gift opens up, it's the start of something big for Paul. His first boat.
It was a wind-up model. You wind it up and it goes in the water.
Had a remote on it to control it.
Right. Battery operated.
And this is Mike on Paul's birthday. He's growing big. Look at the smile on him. That was our favorite bouncing chair. It was orange, and I think every one of the last ones bounced in that chair. Another smile. We're now at Kathy's first communion. April 18th, 1964 this is. She's all dressed up and all the kids are looking out the door. That's Janice True, I believe. Kathy's godparents were Dottie and Marv True, and they were very much a part of our functions. And they were here for her first communion. There's John, and there's Janice and Mary Beth with Marv. Uncle Marv was the godfather, and he had had an eye removed for a brain tumor. He died in 1963. And there is Dottie, her godmother.
And it's a little wet outside that day. It was raining most of the day.
Dottie's proving it's raining. Now they're all going to take a turn saying hello.
And as you can see, the house is still not brick. Comes Jim in his suspenders.
And his arm in. That was his thing then.
There's Rick.
With his droopy drawers and his shirt hanging out. And his smile. Mike says hi. And look how fat he was. There's her cake. Aunt Maggie made it for her, and this is after her communion. But that was her cake. We hadn't cut it yet. She found it an enjoyable day. Had a lot of people over that day, and it was quite crowded in the house for a rainy day. Getting ready to put everything away, so we decided to take one last picture.
It looks like the sun came out.
I think it's another day. I think I want to pack up her stuff, so I decided to go outside again, and I think it did brighten up. And here's Mike again, standing at the side of the playpen with Peggy babysitting as usual. And now we're at Aunt Maggie's on Mother's Day. We went there because Grandma Novak lived with Maggie, and we went there to spend the day for Mother's Day. And they had this nice little rickshaw. Peggy's pulling Paul, and Jim, I believe, was in there. This is
It's our Plymouth wagon, Plymouth station wagon.
moving over to Kennedy Park, and all the kids stayed in their dress-up clothes and played over there for a while. All of Maggie's kids are here. All of our kids are here.
Kathy pushing Matthew. That's Michael. Nina and Aunt Maggie.
Ange and Uncle Joe having a race. Uncle Joe has Polly on his lap. Uncle Sam has a net on his lap. Let's see who can go the highest. Somebody pulled a switch here, if you'll notice.
Yep.
Now Steve is on his father's lap.
Dad's got Steve. We're in the race now with Ange and Uncle Sam.
Or maybe Maggie.
Nah, she just stayed the same.
So did Mike.
Steve and I are cranking it out pretty good.
This is Mike's first birthday. It seems we're having a lot of birthday parties here. Maggie and Sam came over, and if you look real hard, you'll see Kathleen Hanser, and I believe that's Phil Bartolone posed up there, maybe Matt in that sleeping bag. This goes on to where Mike is in his high chair and he makes a selection, which at that time you gave him a choice of different things, and that supposedly determined their future for them. There he is. He has the book, which is A Line of Education. A can, which is supposed to be beer, but this happened to be a pop can, which is supposed to be a drunkard. And there's a coin there to show that you're going to be from money. And there's a rosary indicating a religious life. And Mike, in his indecisive way, touches the book, touches the can, reaches for the rosary, and goes right over, picks up the coin, and decides to put it in his mouth. And that was supposed to mean he would be in money. Here's Phil. Ange is usually carrying Michael because she was his godmother and she carried him around. Here we are back to another elephant cake. Must have been the thing. I don't know what's happening here, but now we're at Tot Lot.
There's Steve coming out of the tunnel. Paul decided to take the overland road. And here comes, it looks like a Richard. And a Jim. And there's Michael on the swing. There's Jim driving, or trying to.
Never did do too well there.
There's Rick, trying to tell us he's 5, but we know better. And here's Steve. Oh, he left the Indians and now he's on the cannon.
The big chief Indian.
Peggy in the dollhouse. Kathy and Jim wants to bum a ride. Steve's on the other side. Now each one's got their own letter.
Home from Tot Lot. Steve's birthday. Sucker in mouth and a merry-go-round cake. He's now 7. These are Halloween pictures on the window. Kind of reflects funny, but I'm rather glad we took this picture because a few years later we lost all the young drawings in the fire. So some of these paintings are pictures that are no longer with us. You also see their faces through the window on occasion, and it's a scary Halloween. Some of these don't show up too good either, but we're trying. See the reflection of the landscape back there. 6th.
Back to Halloween again. Isn't he scary?
Rick was Casper, Jim is a clown.
Again.
Oh, Paul is the leopard. Peggy is Red Riding Hood. Steve is the Bart.
The wind keeps blowing his high flat.
And Kathy is using her dance costume for her Eskimo dance.
And the house still isn't brick.
That turned out a nice costume for her. Now we go to
Another dance that Kathy did. This is a Mickey Mouse dance. And it goes something like, shine your shoes, slick your hair, come along with me, it's Mickey Mouse's birthday party, that's the place to be.
And now we're at Thanksgiving in Aunt Maggie's basement, and we've got all her family there.
Pop is playing the piano and everybody else is singing.
This wasn't one of the better pictures we had, but it was such a rare occasion to do this in her basement that we decided to put it into this video. And here's Michael again. They're doing the Mexican hat dance, but you can't tell there. We just remember that that was what they were doing. They're still dancing, it doesn't show real good, but there's a Mexican hat down there someplace. There is Mike, and he just ate spaghetti. And here's another Christmas. This is Christmas of '64.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful.
Here they come out. Here comes Rick leading the crowd with Steve,
Let it snow,
Mike, and Kathy,
man, it doesn't show
Peggy. And if you'll notice that head that just went around, Rick goes around, gets back in line, and comes out a second time. Jim,
let it snow, let it snow. When we finally kiss
and
goodnight,
here comes Rick again.
how I'll keep going out in the storm.
Thought if he came out twice, he'd get double the presents.
All the way home I'll be warm.
Bang, 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 I gotcha.
And my dear, we're still goodbye. But as long as you love me so, let it snow and snow.
Somebody has it down, but it's Kathy. Uncle Bill's still sleeping. But Pa will wake him up. He'll shoot him.
When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm. But if really
And Mike got a rocking chair.
all the way home.
Rocking horse.
And notice his hair, how long it is.
I don't know who that is rocking him.
We're still goodbye.
A skinny
As
dad.
long as you love me so.
Bouncy, bouncy, bouncy.
Let it snow, let it snow.
Now that long hair is going. Here is Mike's first haircut. I don't know why we're giving it during Christmas week, but we are. Because in the window, you'll notice, this is the kitchen window before the family room went on. It's a kitchen window when you catch a view of it, and there's Christmas bells hanging in the window.
Doesn't mean much. It could be February. It's usually that long before we get everything taken down.
I think he's getting a butch. My baby. That's for the bells show. Isn't he pretty? That's little Mike. Finished product. Never shed a tear. This is Navallo's. They came over for a Christmas visit, Janice and Annette. And you catch Mark here. And there's Uncle Andy and Aunt Mary. They were Steve's godparents. Mark, Janice, and Annette. Dancing and having a good time at Christmas time.
I think this is our snowball fight.
We're going into 1965 now. We had a real big snowstorm. February or March of this year. This isn't quite it. I don't think there isn't enough snow. It was a real deep snow. We got up one morning and there it was.
This is Rick trying to throw a snowball. I think eventually he does throw it.
I don't think he does.
Sooner or later he does. I'm gonna get you. Yeah! He nailed Uncle Bill.
I think this is another day because there's a lot more snow.
Mike with his black eye. I'll be darned.
Doesn't look sweet, but he's got that awful black eye and the other one's threatening to turn black. I can't remember how he got it. This was really a fun day. There was no school. It was canceled. And we went sledding. Made angels in the snow, rolled in the snow, shoveled the snow.
Played cut the pie.
That we did. Lots of snow. It's pretty cold too. They're really bundled up. Now we're going to do some work. They shoveled the path all the way to the breezeway door. And the snow was as high as the kids.
It was almost a record. It was 17 inches.
If you notice, the trees have been cut down. There were 3 trees right there in front of the breezeway. And somehow that year, sometime, they were cut down, and those are the stumps that were left.
And the house still isn't bricked.
And we still have the checkerboard garage door. It was green and white checkerboard. It was kind of like, who was the commercial?
And Danny Kaye, Checkerboard Square.
Checkerboard Square. And there goes Mike, I believe, for a walk. And you can't see real good here, but on the original 8mm film, the snow is higher than he is. That's Rick. And the snow house is still white. There's one tree up and one tree down. Are we stuck in the snow?
That wasn't us, that was somebody else. I thought he'd make it down the street and he got stuck.
That's the front oak tree that's gone now. Rick's gonna make a trip out there.
He's gonna try and get to the garbage cans.
Here's where Mike takes his walk and the snow is higher than he is. Rescue.
I had to finally go bail out Rick.
Steve's first communion. Aunt Maggie made his cake for him, I believe. A very pretty cake with praying hands.
There's Michael.
We have Mike, and he's probably going to tell us how old he is. Well, he's 2. I thought he would tell us, but he didn't. Got a couple blow-up things, a couple 3 cars there. And now we go to some pool fun. Swimming in the pool.
Oh, there's a flip. And a jump. Whoa! There goes Jim. And here goes Richard. He took the easy way out. And Mike has got his own pool. Yeah, he's got his own boat too.
And now we're waiting for another baby. Waiting. What is this baby going to be? Oh, we know it's a boy. Kathy's unhappy.
He says, what?
Rick's smiling. And there's the baby coming home, Gary Thomas.
That was September the 17th, and you can notice how warm it must have been. Everybody's in t-shirts yet.
That's true, and here's, I believe, Aunt Maggie holding her godchild for his baptism.
Yep.
Aunt Maggie and Uncle Sam with Gary's godparents.
Bango. Well, double header.
Garage door is still checkerboard.
That's our famous basketball game. Here comes champion Phil. Proceeds to go outside and miss 3 layups in a row.
This is the cake they made for Mike, for Gary, I'm sorry. Gives all the details on it.
I believe this is the baptism.
This is the baptism. It wasn't as warm as it looked, and we kept covering him up. Maggie didn't want him exposed to the air.
And there's Grandma.
And this is after they've come home and changed
There's
clothes.
1 layup. There's 2.
Rick's all dressed up. And that the pig. Oh. It was finally dug.
That's Sam's car, and we now have the Rambler.
Now we're at Halloween. This time,
I believe Michael was Casper.
Peggy was the Eskimo. Steve was Uncle Sam. That was a costume my brother Bob had. My mother made that for him, and it's around many years later. Pirate. Clown. Rick was the leopard this time around. And here we have baby Gary. I think he's sweet. I miss this face. Looks like he went falling off of some Peggy's holding there. Babysitter.
That's the old horn we found. It's still in the garage.
And we have,
Steve with a flute.
it's New Year's.
It's New Year's Eve, yes.
They've all got noisemakers and drinks. I think they're doing a countdown.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be pretty close to... Oh,
Oh,
yeah, there's all the
they're
paper.
going
Probably one of the first New Year's we had them stay up. I don't know what kind of noise those things make.
Happy New Year! There's Jim's toy. He had a
Jumping jack.
clown, a trapeze man.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick's got his drums.
Christmas makes you feel emotional. It may bring parties or thoughts devotional. Whatever happens or what may be,
That was pajama set with a hat.
here's what Christmas time means to me. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks,
It's a Robinson truck.
dressed in holiday style.
Mike the friendly one.
In the air,
All with his,
there's a feeling.
good.
Oh, that's his army outfit. His
Children
helmet and
laughing,
his big gun.
people passing, meeting smile after smile, and on every street corner.
And his glasses, if you'll notice, we now have Poland glasses.
Silver bells.
And there's Gary under the tree, just like a Christmas present.
It's Christmas time in the city.
He's hanging on to the Robinson truck. That's what he's got.
Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it'll be Christmas
Notice the
Day. Strings of streetlights,
Natural.
even stoplights, blink
And a
a
dog.
bright red and green. As the
Might be a Barbie, huh?
I think this might be a Barbie,
with
yes.
their
I
treasures.
think it's her first Barbie doll.
Hear the
65 and she was born in
See the
58.
kids bunch.
7.
This is Santa's big scene. And above all this bustle, you
But Jenna's right. Yeah, Jenna's
hear
And Kathy has one.
silver
She's got a suitcase called Playful Puppies.
bells. It's
Carry all her
Christmas
stuff in. There's her long
time
hair.
in the city.
Long and dark.
Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas
She's not gonna look out the window. Handlebars for his bicycle. That was Steve's request.
Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays. 'Cause no matter how far
He also got some deep sea diver or something.
when you pine for the sunshine.
This is a manger scene, but it didn't come through real well, but it was an outdoor scene.
Holidays,
And now, we're back to a birthday party. I believe we did Paul and Jim together this year. Paul is 6, Jim is 5, and everybody's around the kitchen table. And there's Paul with his glasses. As we go around the table here, one by one, eating their ice cream with their party hats on. And our baby Gary. And another store-bought cake. Somehow I didn't bake cakes in January.
I really said Merry Christmas on it. We bought it 2 weeks late. Changed it to Happy Birthday.
And we got Peggy's first communion. That was on March 27th of 1966. Those birthdays started a new year for us, so we're in 1966 now. I made her dress for her, and her veil was from Aunt Evelyn. We got her headpiece. And this is Easter. And Joyce Trudgeon made a sweater for everyone. They have their Easter outfits on, and underneath are their sweaters, which they will appear in a few minutes. Joyce made a complete outfit for each one of them.
Look at the legs on that. Look out.
Here he is. There he is, the Mafia Man.
Mr. Danger. Joe Cool.
Screwing around, that's what he's doing. Getting everyone in trouble. While they're screwing around, if you'll notice, Gary's almost falling off of Peggy's lap. Save him, save him. Now we have Steve in his sweater from Joyce. Paul in his sweater from Joyce. Jim in his sweater from Joyce. Rick in his sweater from Joyce. And Michael in his sweater from Joyce. Gary didn't put his outfit on. It was too cold. It was a bonnet and sweater, and it was a very nice outfit. Kathy has hers on. It was a rose color. Peggy has hers on. It was a pink color. And Kathy has them all marching. Here she's aggravating Peggy, and Peggy doesn't feel like being aggravated. But they're in their sweaters from Joyce also. This is one of my favorite films. This is Mike and Steve. They have raincoats. For the first time they're going for a walk in the rain, and they were just having a ball getting wet. They were just having fun together. And there they go off into the mud and water. A walk in the rain. They're singing in the rain.
If you notice, the house that Peg and Len live in now is not there.
And that's where they're walking. Now we have...
It's got to be a birthday. It's Richard, and he's 4. How about that?
her confirmation cake. Her confirmation was May 10th, 1966.
I noticed Kathy's in glasses too.
We now have Kathy in glasses, yes. The first time she's appearing in them.
This is the parade.
Steve is carrying the flag. You can see the pole going up there. That is Steve carrying the flag way up front. He was in the Royal Oak Parade, and it was the only time he was in the parade as a Cub Scout. Now we're back in the backyard. Gary and Steve are playing in Gary's little pool. Everybody else is in the big pool. And here we have a sunset in Caseville.
Well, we were fortunate enough to get a cottage for a couple of years.
It was a Berlew's cottage. Berlew's were somebody we knew through work. And they had a real nice cottage, which we show a little bit more of. Right here we're at the beach going down the slide, which they had there. Steve is wearing a bathing cap because he cracked his head open and had stitches, and he couldn't go in the water unless he covered his head. So he had to wear a white bathing cap.
And that's him going backwards.
With his head covered. It was either that or don't swim.
And this was us trying to get out there to the swing. We had all the little guys.
In the slide, we went all the way out to the slide.
Slide, I meant.
It wasn't too very far. It was a nice, actually it was a very nice distance.
Yeah, they could stand up. The bigger kids could stand up at the slide. Uh-oh, there goes Pop. Who am I going with? Who have I got?
Looks like Jim.
No, I think it's Mike.
This
There's
is
the cottage.
Cottages. It's a terrible picture. Let's see, there's Gary with the girls. This is the first year we went. Gary was barely walking, and he ate more sand than he did anything. Now we're at Szymanski's in their swimming pool. That was a quick switch.
They were one of the first people to get a outdoor pool of any size, and they invited us over.
Evelyn, Jerry. You had to wear bathing caps if you had long hair, because at that time they said if you didn't, it plugged up your filter. All out of the pool and all dry and ready for the next thing. I think that ends it. This is a fire in our backyard. We used to have a pit right at the corner where the pit is now. Only we dug it in the ground and everybody could sit around it. It was ground level. We spent many good hours there. Singing, cooking, and falling asleep. And this is the fire in the backyard. We've got some pretty good fires going. This is the first day of school. They're off to school on their bikes. They're off to school walking. To each their own. And this is the first full day of school that they went. Now we're at Gary's first birthday. Same hats again. Only Paul's playing games with his, I think. Maybe it's Jim. Or is it Mike? Mike's playing games with his. Gary.
Yep.
And a few people were over again, and Peggy's doing something.
Hula hoop, I think.
Oh, that's what she's moving like. Rick and Steve decided to bake some cream puffs, and they wore Grandpa's old cooking caps and Grandpa's old aprons, and they made cream puffs for Gary's first birthday. They were real good, too. And then they took them back to the backyard.
I cooked them over the fire.
And they were cooked already. We finished up our party. There he is, 1-year-old, with a smile. Paul is down there, and for some reason we have a small grill that Dad's cooking at. And Paul is helping him. And I don't really remember that grill. But it seemed to be a small little grill. We weren't using the big fire. Maggie and Sam were there. And there's a present for him, I believe. I think we're back to Christmas
Yeah, it looks like it.
of '66. We have Jim putting the treetop on.
From Pennsylvania, folks are traveling down to Dixie's sunny shore. From that
And we have Rick and everyone, Mike with his hat on, all gathered around Dad, and they're all going to read to us the night before Christmas.
Sure are.
All on the floor, all in a circle. Just like they did when they counted Santa Clauses.
no matter how far away you roam.
There they are with their book.
If you want to be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can be home.
Oh, and we have an unhappy area, I think.
That's the book we read.
Yeah, but everybody's happy.
If you want
They're all going to bed, they're all going to
in a million ways,
There's all the gifts lined up on Christmas morning.
you can be home. Sweet home.
Jim in his fire engine. You got a sit-in fire engine.
Looks like he's taking Michael for a ride.
Kathy's sitting at her desk, a desk that we got that was really beat out. Dad spent months sanding it down, revarnishing it, and getting it ready for a Christmas present. It's a roll top, and she still has it. Steve with his Ford Apache. Everybody enjoyed that one.
Yeah, we took that on vacation once.
I think we did, played in the sand. And Peggy with the dog. And there's, you would not know it, but Mike is under that Batman outfit. And he has his Batman car.
Batmobile.
Batmobile. That's what it was. New Year's. And everybody's throwing their stuff up in the air. Everybody's banging on pots. Everybody's making noises. And we're getting ready for Happy New Year. Everybody made noise. Everybody had a drink. Nostrovia. A few people went around, distributed kisses. I believe those were Paul's glasses flashing. Still kissing. Those were the good old days. And everybody's sitting with chin in hand. Now they're showing a Christmas tree ornament that they liked. Kathy is showing the Blessed Mother that she liked. Steve has made something out of pine cones. I think she made that. It's a wreath with the Blessed Mother in the middle of it. Steve had pine cones, and Paul had a evergreen wreath that there was a reindeer in this pine cone situation Steve made. It was very pretty. It just glares in the video camera. And then Paul has a wreath that he made out of evergreen, and it had a big bow on it. But this is after New Year's.
We were probably putting everything away.
We were putting everything away, I think, yeah, so we were doing the last thing. Of 1968. This ends everything because we had nothing up until now, because in 1967 the camera broke and we have no movies from 67 at all. This goes all the way to June on the last day of school, and now we are in 1968. Here we are back at Berlouv's cottage. We went back for a second time. They're a little bit older, playing in the same lake and having a good time.
Here's the slide. And there's Gary.
With his curls. This time he's traveling on his own. Last time he was traveling with help. It was always a pretty scene here. This is Lake.
Caseville, Saginaw Bay.
The beach was a nice beach. Little kids were perfectly safe here. This is a better shot of the cottage than it was a couple of years ago. Had that wall there that you could sit on and watch right out to the water. Came in the other side with your car, which made it very nice. And over there they had a nice picnic area. After we go through this bad part, we end up with this family. What was their name?
Archambault. Paul Archambault and his daughters.
That was his wife. And this is Mrs. Berlouv. This is Ed Berlouv's mother, and that's who we rented the cottage from.
Anytime we traveled, this was our theme song.
Right in front of the breezer. That's how it landed in the ground.
Yeah, it fell right off the tree and landed.
point side up.
Would you believe that dumb house is still white?
And there we have Mike. And I do believe he's 5. He got a puppet. He liked puppets. He always liked puppets.
Batman. It was a Batman puppet.
He keeps showing you his toys. They got a truck and he's going to drive it all over himself. 5. Gotcha, Mike. You're 5. This is a shot that's mostly showing trees, but we left it in for only one reason. This is the front driveway. You see the landscaping more than you do the basketball court. But if you look real hard, you find Kathy out there in a sundress playing basketball with the boys. Now that is a rare shot. There you vaguely pick her up. I think you get her a little bit better again. It's not good at all, but it was a rare one. There she is. Did she score? Who knows?
Notice the net is in the front of the house, not the back.
There she is again. Very hard to see, but I had to leave that one in there. This is the first day of school, and this is the year they started to St. Dennis. Kathy and Peg and Paul and Jim went to St. Dennis this year. Peggy wore a jumper, and junior high did not wear jumpers, so Kathy is in her skirt. And she is in junior high. Here's Rick and Steve, who is a patrol boy, and they're going to go to Edison together this year because Steve wanted to finish the 6th grade, and Rick didn't have a 1st grade at St. Dennis, so he had to go to Edison. So they decided they would travel together to Edison. Steve took him on the bicycle, and that was their means of transportation that year. And if you'll notice, there is no Peggy's house across the street. There. Now Mike is ready for school, and he's all excited. He's 5, and he's going to school. We're off to kindergarten. This is another favorite shot. There he goes, very excited, very happy. He's waving to Gary. Gary doesn't really want him to go, and he runs out and gives him a kiss. Goodbye. Bye, Mike. See you this afternoon. Now the 3 of them will travel together. And there's Gary, the only one left at home. He's not too happy about it. Definitely Miss Peggy's house. That's Zugay's now, but that was
Grandma Helen.
That's who lived there all the years we were there. Now we're getting ready to swim, but Gary's doing a roundabout because we all know his curls are going pretty soon. Look at those natural curls. Paul's going to take him swimming. It's pretty warm. Changes his mind. The pool was behind the garage at this time. There was no patio there, it was ground. And it was only like a 3-foot pool, but it was a pretty good size for the kids. Gary had his own little pool. Again, I think this is where the swimming pool is now, isn't it?
No, that's the paperwork.
I don't remember saying Sabrina. Ain't cute. There's Paul in the pool, and believe it or not, Eddie Cleaver is with him. Can't miss that head of white hair. That's Rydoc's next door. Now it's Lee's. We'll give each other a couple of checks here. There's one from behind. I don't know. Now we have Gary's 3rd birthday. It's kind of hard to see this, but it was his birthday, so we left it in. I'm not even too sure what we're opening there, but we are opening gifts. I think Maggie's there, and I think there's David Novak. That was another reason I left this in. It's the only shot I think we've got of him. It's scary, but you can't see real good. Either Nina or Missy. Oh. There's Gary. He's telling you he's 3. And he's still got his curls. There's his cake. He's on the front porch, and he's got a gingerbread man cake. A wind-up jumping dog.
And of course, the house is still white.
Now I think we're getting ready for the big event. I believe Gary is going to get his hair cut. It's hard to see, but a very important day. You catch every so often what's happening. There comes the clips. We're cutting off the curls first. They're all in one big show place on a blanket. And we get a picture of those curls, and then we go to the buzzer. He's laughing. He thinks it's funny. There's Dad. Get rid of his curls. Snip, snip. There he is. The curls are gone, the long ones, but the hair is still there. And there's a buzzer. We're not going to give him a buzz. There's all the curls on the blanket. Those are the ones we saved. Gave those to Gary for his birthday this year. Buzz, buzz. A lot of these pictures aren't real good. I don't know if our camera was going or what, because they weren't real good on the 8mm either. Now he's starting to look like a boy's haircut.
Well, those haircuts I gave, it's gotta be the most famous hands on television.
I never went to a barber shop, that's for sure. I think we got a better shot of this somehow when the light came in right. I don't know what made the difference. We got a clearer picture. But we were in the same place all the time. I think he's cute. Now they all give him a hard time. Jake all gonna mess up his hair for him.
Well, I'll give him the famous rub.
All that time to get it smoothed down, and look what they're doing to him. This is Peggy. At her confirmation, Angela was her sponsor, and she is the name Angela. Ange bought her the dress. It was kind of a pinky color, rosy color, orangey color. Hat went with it. Okay. And Ange is with Tom, who she eventually married and had 4 girls with. That probably is Missy, if you picked her up. There's Dan's Peggy, and there's Ange and Tom. And the kids are running around there. This wasn't a real good picture on the 8mm either, but it was an event that I thought we should save. And of course another basketball court. Always basketball. Now we have Peggy, who is 10. One there was her confirmation cake, and I believe this is the confirmation cake, and another one, yes, this is the praying hands, and the other one was her birthday cake. She was confirmed very close to her birthday. The actual date was the day after her birthday, November 24th in 1968, so we had 2 cakes going for her there. Those were some pictures on the wall that we flashed by, and now we've got Erie and Rick, who are dueling it out, and these are their Christmas presents. This is between Christmas and New Year's. For some reason, we didn't take pictures on drink. Nostrovia.
Down the hatch.
That was a rather quick holiday season for us this year. Steve with his walkie-talkies. Those ones that wish happy holidays are another thing that burned in the fire. Looks like we had good sweets though. People all over for New Year's. And we're taking the tree top down, but since we didn't take a picture putting it up, we thought we'd reverse it for a picture before we take the decorations down. It was Rick's turn. Paul's making funny faces, Peggy's waving.
Dad in his traditional plaid shirt and cigarette.
Gary smiling, Jim laughing. Oh, poor Kathy is. Got Mike there? This is one of Dad's favorite games. This year he's playing it with Gary. Decorations are coming down, but you gotta have fun doing it. Oh, 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 oh.
Guess who? Uh-oh. Gary turned the tables on me.
We had a castle cake that year with a sign in front that said happy birthday Paul and Jim. This is now 1969. The films don't go far into 1969. We have Valentine's Day, Peggy and Michael. And we have Rick with a quick birthday, and we have Jim at his first communion. That was a quick shot, and now if you notice, we've got them all lined up.
And the house is finally brick!
And this is the family at the end of the communion, which was for 1969. And then we end the films with this family shot, and we'll see you in the 70s.